Welcome to Zonk. Story 1. This guy and I have been dating for a short while. He went away for work for 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks I was weak, as it was my first time being away from him. I ended up sleeping with my friend out of loneliness. Afterwards, I felt bad, cheap, and just pure shit. When my boyfriend came back after his 2 weeks, I was so filled with guilt, I cried and explained to him everything. He nodded and just went inside and left me outside. He's been ignoring me, and my friends have been grilling me about how I cheated on him. I said sorry, I tried being intimate, I cooked his favorite meal, and he just doesn't even acknowledge me. I would cuddle up on the couch and he would just get up and move into another room. I'm scared because I feel like I'm losing him. He spent 2 hours in the rain sitting down for no reason. He's starting to become cold towards me. He gives me short answers. Emotions aren't even present when I talk with him. I know mistakes can be fixed, but trust takes a lifetime to earn back. I just want him back. Update. We discussed everything. I had to spill my guts about everything. We talked for the whole night trying to figure it out. During the night, his female friend was with us grilling me. He wants to give me a second chance, but it means I'll have to accept the fact that he's going to sleep with other women while I can't. If this means saving our relationship, I'm going to do it. The comments making me feel bad and a shit person. I really needed to see how I affected my BF. He's still cold towards me, and he's spending a lot more time with his female friend. I see what I did is bad now. I'm owning up to it because of the guilt. Thanks for making me feel bad about myself. I needed a reality. OP, you have made a significant mistake. Perhaps this is a life lesson for you, showing that your actions, regardless of their scale, positivity or negativity, legality or illegality, morality or immorality, always have consequences. Accept the reality of the situation and face the consequences. In this case, a person who cheats will not receive sympathy, but rather a harsh dose of reality. Comments. First of all, don't call it as a mistake. Mistakes are done without knowledge. What you did is wrong. Wrongs are made consciously, so you did was wrong. You need to come to terms with that. Mistakes can be rectified, but not wrongs. All you can do is accept the judgment he gonna give. This gonna take a lot of time to come to terms with this for him. Even if he gonna decide to work on the relationship and go ahead with the reconciliation, then be ready to do work accordingly for a long time. It takes a lot of time to get reconciled. You hurt him in the most damaging way possible. You showed him early on what will happen when he leaves for a work trip, which will surely happen again. On top, you think of your cheating as a mistake. You haven't done a mistake. Haven't put salt in his coffee instead of sugar, which could be seen as a mistake. No, you made a conscious decision to cheat on him. You accepted that this would hurt him and that it might end your relationship. You accepted that all when you had sex with the other guy. Story 2. Hi, I'm female 21, and let me clear, I'm completely in love with my boyfriend, male 22. I've made a mistake, but that does not define who I am, even though I completely understand I'm in the wrong here. We've been dating for 2 years, and everything's going too well. Our relationship is very healthy. We've both been head over heels with each other, and there's no sign of toxicity. My boyfriend is an angel in every respect, and I'm very lucky to have him. We have the same circle of friends. So, one of his friends flew here to see him, and on the nights of his stay, we went out to party, just the two of us, because everybody else didn't want to go. We got super drunk and ended up spending the night together. My relationship has always been too healthy, and being with my boyfriend's friend gave me the adrenaline rush that was missing from my life. Next morning, when I came back home and processed everything that had happened, I couldn't move. I was completely shattered by my actions, and I didn't know what to do. 1 week of acting cold with my boyfriend because I couldn't deal with the guilt. I told him what happened that night. I missed the part where I had sex with his friend, but told him that we slept on the same bed, but did not sleep with each other. He believed me and forgave me. Things were going great again. I had started feeling better. I realized my mistake and had no intention to repeat it, until his friend came back to town last week again and texted me. I went out for a few drinks with him, just the two of us. I set my boundaries very clear that it was just a few drinks and nothing else. We just wanted to clear the air because our circle is the same and it was awkward. Unfortunately, we ended up spending the night together. Again. I came back home the next morning. I could not live with the guilt because I realized that what I did was wrong. I knew I had crossed the line and I had no way to fix it. I went to my boyfriend's place and broke up with him. I didn't have it in my heart to tell him what actually happened. I still broke up with him because he did not deserve what I did with him. He's an absolute angel and I'm completely in love with him, but I did not know why I did what I did. I probably needed the adrenaline rush, but I realized it wasn't worth it. I broke up with him, but now I'm unable to deal with it. I'm open to suggestions. I just know I can't tell him what actually happened. What do you guys think? It's crucial for you to acknowledge your actions and take responsibility for them, including accepting the repercussions they entail. It's necessary for you to honestly disclose the complete story to your ex-partner, admitting that you engaged in sexual encounters with his friend on 2 occasions, lied about it, and ended the relationship as a way to avoid telling him the truth. It is your duty to provide him with this information. He deserves the opportunity to distance himself from his friend, and it will undoubtedly aid him in finding closure. Comments. LOL, I'm not trying to knock you, but it's not getting fixed. Cheating the first time? I mean, let's just say for the sake of argument you get a pass there. It happens. But the second time with the same guy in the same scenario? Either keep cheating or break up. This isn't getting fixed. I think anytime you want to do something that you know the other person wouldn't approve of and you do it anyway, that's a sign of toxicity. If your relationship was 100% healthy, you would have told him beforehand that you were attracted to the friend. Or immediately after you had sex, you would have told him. After all, on a non-toxic relationship, there's no reason to be anything but totally honest. This is pretty common in our culture. I think it's mostly tied to insecurity. We're afraid of losing something, so we don't tell the whole truth. But really, if a relationship is meaningful, then it will always survive the truth. It might change, but it will survive. Story 2. This will be a wall of text, but there's a boulder on my chest, and I feel like if I don't let everything out somehow, I'm gonna go crazy. History. I started seeing my boyfriend B when I was 19. He was 25 at the time. He fell for me instantly, and I eventually fell for his charm and warmth. We dated for 6.5 years, and we were planning on getting married at one point. The first 2 years of our relationship were a dream. We fell in love harder every day. Each day with B was a dream, an adventure. I'm a person that's easily bored, and he always put in an effort to keep me entertained or amused. He was lovely. He loved me more than he loved himself. I believe till date that he would give me the last bite of food he has if I would ask. He always did something special for my birthdays and Valentines, even though I'm not particularly keen on celebrating either. He would buy me small presents as a surprise just to see me smile. He would send me texts during the day with a warm, encouraging message. I have a high-stress job. I just can't overemphasize how amazing he was. After the second year into the relationship, he was still his lovely self, but started getting slightly insecure, although to this point he had nothing to worry about. He kept asking why I would talk to an old guy friend or why I added an ex-colleague on Facebook. I addressed his concerns and he seemed okay for a few days, but then he started getting angrier more often. That being said, he was still very caring and considerate. Still as much in love with me as he was on the first day. Still wooing me, still looking after me, etc. First time I cheated. 4 years into our relationship, I met a guy, C, through a friend. C and I started off just friends, but eventually we got very close, and would talk on the phone for hours. We never flirted openly, but it was obvious to both of us that the other person is special to us. Now B found out. We had a huge fight, he forgave me, and we moved on. However, this scar never left B, and understandably he would often bring it up, and of course his insecurity now grew. Second time I cheated. This is 5 years into our relationship. My feelings for B have waned. I love him dearly, I still do, but I'm not romantically sexually attracted to him. I try to break up with him, but then his mother falls seriously ill. Another time I want to bring up the topic, he's going through very heavy financial troubles. I admit I was too much of a coward to bring it up, and when I did work up the courage, the time would be wrong. Around this time, I meet an old friend of mine, D, and we become physically involved. My relationship with D by this point is an escape from a life with B which I find unbearable. I feel the need to say that again, I was too much of a coward to break up with him. I also felt like he needed me to take care of certain things in his life, and if I left, he would fall apart. About 7 or 8 months into my affair, my boyfriend confronts me about the second instance of cheating. I deny it initially until he admits he's read my texts. I tell him, and he snaps. He hits me, chokes me, pulls my hair, slaps me numerous times. I was pretty bruised up. Anyway, the next day we talk and I assume he wouldn't want to stay with me, and I want to say a final goodbye and apologize for what happened. Turns out he wants us to stay together. I say I can't be with him after the clusterfuck that our relationship has become. He then threatens to ruin my life, threatens the safety of my family, threatens to ruin my career. We fight, and eventually, under a lot of duress and promises on his part, I agree to work it out. What ensued was 8 months of a mind frick like no other. We both held grudges. We had lost trust in each other. We were both deeply scarred by the other's actions, and still B refuses to end the relationship. The last few months, we've come from a point of being head over heels in love with each other and willing to do anything for the other, to wishing the other person was dead. And still, B refuses to end the relationship. A few hours ago, he turned up outside my house at 1 a.m., we don't live together, and created an enormous scene. He called me a hoe, liar, etc., I admit I am, and basically woke the entire neighborhood. I realized that we were going nowhere and that I would have to be brave and just cut off ties cold. This is what I've done. He was and is a wonderful human. And he loved me like I've never seen another person love someone. I screwed us up. I didn't have the balls to stand up and break up with him and take a stand when it mattered. Then I went and cheated on a guy that only ever wanted to make me smile. Then we drove each other to a point where everything beautiful about a relationship was just washed away. Everything kind, considerate, thoughtful he did for me is buried under a lot of anger and hurt. But the saddest part is, I did this to us. We were beautiful together. We were each other's crutch, best friend, entertainment, lover, and we truly completed each other. I wish that either I had broken up when I felt I couldn't reciprocate his feelings, or I should have just stuck my head down and worked hard at the relationship. Now, I'm just sitting on my bed crying nonstop because I can't stop thinking about that time he went and bought me a purple dolphin plush toy because I love dolphins and the color purple. I can't stop thinking about the time he drove 20 kilometers at 2 a.m. at night just to drop off cake to kill my cake craving. I can't stop thinking about the care packages he would make for me and surprise me with whenever I felt unwell or under stress from work. I can't forget how he dropped off cat food to my house at 3 a.m. because I realized I was out. I can't forget how he dropped his work just to go pick up my little sister when she was stranded somewhere and I couldn't make it. I can't forget that he would so often cook something wonderful, especially for me. I can't forget that his hugs were a world of their own. The most comfortable and safe feeling I've ever known. Please learn from my mistake. In my personal opinion, I don't think either of you are in a healthy state of mind. I recently went through a similar situation, although I never engaged in physical cheating. However, my partner displayed similar behavior without any loving qualities. The situation escalated to a point where he physically assaulted me and attempted to force himself on me after months of showing no interest in our relationship. Given my experience, I don't think it's wise to attempt a reconciliation. Once someone crosses that boundary and abuses you, it's likely to happen again. It's understandable to still have feelings of love and miss the positive moments you shared. I too sometimes miss the happy times from my own past. However, it's important to distance yourself for the sake of your safety and his well-being.